Here on RTE2 television this Saturday afternoon comes from the Leinster Hurling Championship. It's the second of this year's semi-finals, Dublin versus Kilkenny, to see who will face Galway in the provincial decider. We are live at O'Moore Park in Portlaoise, and the throw-in is at 5 o'clock.
In Portlaoise, it's time for action between Dublin and Kilkenny, the champions, and the match gets underway. Barry Kelly just throwing the ball in and letting them off. And it is Dublin who won the toss, and they've opted to play from left to right in the first half, which means they've got a breeze behind them for the opening 35 minutes. And even when retirements and injuries and form loss is taken into account, I suppose very few experts have been prepared to actually go against this Kilkenny team when it comes to championship time. They've beaten so many teams by big margins, Michael, down the years.
Well, they can do that, and just noting straight away, Ryan O'Dwyer has gone to centre forward, Danny Sutcliffe gone out in the left wing, Conal Keaney is over on the right wing as Liam Sheedy predicted, and Liam Rush gone in at full forward.
And their first free is going to be taken by Paul Ryan. Paul, who's got 2 goals and 52 points in his championship career so far from 65 metres out. It's way to the right. Didn't catch it at all properly, and he is normally one of the most assured.
Yeah, Ger, just to explain maybe to the listeners at home, or to the viewers, it's an absolutely terrible evening. The rain is very, very heavy. Even watching the players in the warm-up, some of the most skillful players in the country struggling to control the ball in the drills before the game. So I think there's going to be a lot of mistakes, and it's about maybe being cool on the ball and taking your time, because it's going to be very, very difficult out there this evening. As
David Herity pucks it out for Kilkenny, and the wind is against him, and it is won here by Johnny McCaffrey, trying to lay it off here to Sutcliffe, the Trinity College student. 35 metres out, and immediately after him there was Tommy Walsh, and Tommy picks himself off the ground. This is the challenge again, which the referee blew for, and it's got to be a free in.
Yeah, if you watch it there, I think Tommy would have been better just trying to hook him. He went over the top, over the shoulder, instead of coming underneath, and the foul was given. And you'll remember in the league, Danny Sutcliffe had a great day on Tommy Walsh, and Tommy was substituted, so good start by young Sutcliffe.
And that was a very, very high scoring league match. So Paul Ryan once again called into action here. This is a much easier free now. So can he put Dublin in front here? Does so. First of the match. Well, he'll be pleased that he got a point on the boards. Big day for Anthony Daly and all of the backroom team and all the build-up that they've had to this. This is the match, as he was saying in his interview with Claire McNamara, this is the match they have been focusing on. They're back at the ground where, of course, they lost to Galway in the replay of the relegation match here back about 6 weeks ago now. But that's long, long forgotten. It's all about trying to measure up against the champions. TJ Reid, lovely loose style, but he hits that one away to the right-hand side. Sometimes his finishing lets him down. Centre forward, though, should suit him. That role in there where he's involved the whole time. Brian Cody urging his players on here, looking to win this year, what would be an 8th in a row in Leinster. From the puck out, Doyle going back in there again, trying to get to it. Comes out towards Owen Larkin, who had a wonderful league final against Cork, man of the match. And this time it's Kilkenny who win possession. Jackie Tyrrell taking it out. Jackie was fouled, and it's got to be a free to Kilkenny.
Yeah, nice piece of skill here by Jackie Tyrrell. You see the little flick up into his hand and using his strength to break through, and Colin Keaney holding him back.
And Paddy Hogan, the 25-year-old from Danesfort, will be the one who will take it. Breeze in his face. It's not a particularly strong breeze, but it's significant nonetheless, and the rain is lashing into the striker as well, and whatever it did, it put him off, and he didn't look at all settled there. And this is a very good young hurler. He's 25 years of age now. He's waited his chance. Conal Keaney breaking it down. Paul right onto it quickly. Johnny McCaffrey the next one in, and McCaffrey striking and putting it away to the left-hand side, and the umpire eventually waves his hands and signals that that's another one gone wide by Dublin. So a couple of missed opportunities for them. Still that 1 point on the boards through the free taking of Paul Ryan.
Yeah, you can see Dublin targeting Richie Doyle. He's an under 21 player, pucking the ball down to Conal Keaney, hoping he'll use his physical strength, and Paul Ryan moved out to that ball very well. Once again,
this time it's another Paul Murphy, all-star. winner of his first All-Ireland medal in his first real season last year, the quarterback for Kilkenny. Pressure there on the Dublin half-back line. Owen Larkin trying to take it up into his hands, succeeds, ready to take over, well dispossessed by Joey Boland. Comes back there towards Conal Keaney. Down into the forwards again it goes. Paul Ryan's little shot, and he pulls it in beautifully inside the right-hand post and puts it over the bar, and he's got a second, and Dublin lead by 2 points to no score.
Yeah, great tackling there, Jared, by the Dublin backs, and Paul Ryan is a very, very skillful hurler. Jackie Turtle knocked it down, the conditions again playing a part, but still a very good finish by Paul Ryan.
This was a beautiful piece of skill by Joey Boland there to dispossess Owen Larkin. Back live, TJ Reid sent in there towards Richie Power, couldn't get to it. Joey Boland's back to help out, smartly down along as far as Sutcliffe. He's been a revelation this season, played brilliantly in the league. Putting the pressure immediately here on the Kilkenny full back line. Brian Hogan slipping it outside there, and Tommy Walsh, the one who eventually falls down, pressurised by Ryan O'Dwyer.
Yeah, he's under a bit of pressure here, and just the arm in, not a lot in it.
Very little.
Yeah, Tommy probably lucky there because he was put under fierce pressure by Ryan O'Dwyer.
I don't think he put his head down and ready to take off, but he got a free out of it. This is up here towards Henry Shefflin. Eventually Owen Larkin coming across, almost running out of space. Despairing dive to get that one, comes back to TJ Reid, hitting it from outside the 45-metre line. It's way up into the sky, and it lands beautifully over the crossbar. And it's Kilkenny's first point, and TJ Reid is the scorer. 7 minutes into the match, just got a little bit of space there, nobody closing him down, and up high and landing down beautifully. 2 points to 1. Dublin battling in the middle of the park there. Ryan O'Dwyer, number 24, on his back, being helped out over there. It's Danny Sutcliffe who gets it, tries to get away from his man Henry Shefflin. Sutcliffe takes off, Doyle's after him, trying to hook him, and he's landed an absolute beauty. What about that for a score for Dublin? Well, the Dublin fans applauding, and this is a very impressive start being made here by Danny Sutcliffe, raiding down the left-hand side from a very tight angle. He's made it 3 points to 1.
Yeah, that's a great score, Jerry. He took on the entire Kilkenny defence almost there, and he was brilliant all during the league. Apart, maybe towards the end of the league, got a little bit of maybe a match or two. He wasn't up to his best, but before that, he was brilliant for Dublin during the league.
What breeze there is blowing behind Dublin, remember, for the opening 35 minutes, as Joey Boland plays it down into a 2-man inside forward line. Liam Rush there, and so too is Conor McCormack. Comes back out towards the centre half back, Brian Hogan. Dublin have a player down injured at the moment. It appears to be Dublin's number 12, Conal Keaney. Referee eventually blows his whistle and indicts the cornerback, Niall Corcoran. Little word of warning as well. That's Conal Keaney, who was injured earlier on, just now receiving some attention from the physio. Well, he's had his battles with injury problems in recent times, Conal Keaney.
Well, he has, Jerry. You see that stat there, 5 Leinster Senior football, and not part of the squad last year. They went and won the All-Ireland after all the great service he gave to footballers, and I know he'd made the decision to he was more naturally a hurler, maybe starting off his career, and he's seen going over awkwardly there, but hopefully he's okay, he's back on his feet.
And the free has been taken, and it was put over the bar. Henry Shefflin, first point for him since his return, so he's within 4 points now of a grand total of 500 points in championship hurling. Great to see him back.
Yeah, John, I think that breeze is picking up. The rain is dying down again now, and Dublin are playing with a very strong breeze at the moment.
Block on that as Johnny McCaffrey was trying to play it into his forward, so it's going to be a line ball to Dublin. Well, okay, the conditions are absolutely wretched, and we'd love to see a lovely summer's day here, especially as everybody was looking forward to this, but it's not as if the players aren't used to training and playing in this. After all, this is Ireland, not the South Pacific.
That's it, Jared. It's still a great contest, great passion in the game so far, and this is what Kilkenny do. They're only a point down despite the fact they've had very little to play.
O'Dwyer for Dublin. Didn't get much on that one. Instead, it is Brian Hogan against the breeze, playing it up there. Wind, it's Colin Fennelly, I think, is down injured as that ball is hit in towards the inside forwards, in towards Liam Rush. Back there is Paul Murphy once again. Brilliant defending on his part. Jackie Tyrrell now picking it up. Little release outside as far as the left half. Richie Doyle. And Doyle bangs it down, but only as far as Joey Boland, and the referee has decided, I think, just to hold up the play in there, because there is the injury here to Colin Fennelly. Having a word with Joey Boland. And Fennelly, his brother Michael, watching this because he can't play on account of injury. Came down very, very awkwardly there. Big leap in the air. There was no real interference. Maybe there was a very light tangle of legs, but it was quite accidental.
Yeah, and I think he's become a very, very important member of the Kilkenny forward, like all the players, but I think he's a bit of extra pace that he has maybe above all the other Kilkenny forwards, and he causes trouble. When he gets that ball, he runs very direct.
McCaffrey lobs it in, waiting for it back there, and ready to hit it out once again. Jackie Tyrrell out into the middle here, as far as Killian Buckley, former minor captain. Both teams back to 15 against 15. The injuries have been sorted out. Johnny McCaffrey needs a support player. Gets it there from Niall Corcoran. Right over across the line there towards Mick Carton. And the Dublin fireman fires it back, but out of play. Line ball to Kilkenny. 3 points to 2, 11 minutes gone. Well, it's been lively and very competitive so far, as we have anticipated. His team overwhelming favourites. It's 70 years since Dublin beat Kilkenny in the championship. Line ball has been rolled in quickly here. As far as Brian Hogan lashes it in. Richie Power goes down under the challenge. Richie Hogan tries to get to it. Dublin's defenders grouping well, and eventually works smartly out of defence here. Last man up there was Tomas Brady. Ends up being a Kilkenny ball, however. Another one of the wounded from last year, being challenged there by Owen Larkin. Now this line ball is going to be taken by Henry Shefflin, already a point scorer from a free. We're trying to get it back to him. Dublin's tigerish play so far is a real feature of this match, but that's Richie Doyle from Barrow Rangers. Big one in. Comes straight back out here towards Richie Hogan. Steadies himself, makes an angle for himself, and floats it beautifully over. Richie Hogan's first. And the match is tied up at 3 points apiece, and that's a very good recovery by the Cats, responding smartly to Dublin's early flow of scores. Back down the field, Paul Murphy put under pressure there. Hogan tries to come in, Ryan O'Dwyer upends him. Barry Kelly, the referee, not too far away, deciding that's a foul.
Yeah, Jaron, you can see even watching there that even before the replays are showing, the ball is down the field. Dublin really pucking the ball out. They're trying to up the game. They probably think maybe they'll have an edge on fitness. Kilkenny have been on the road a long time, but they're really upping the pace of the game. And Richie Hogan's last score, I think that's an area of his game he's really improved on, winning that 50-50 ball and a great score into the wind.
The middle of the field, Michael, is an area which I think Dublin might well have targeted today, considering there are two players in there who are not that terribly experienced in terms of championship, Killian Buckley and Paddy Hogan. We know they're great players, but they haven't really got that vital element of experience.
No, they haven't. And Paddy Hogan has been around the panel took him a long time to get onto the panel after having a brilliant career as a minor. He was outstanding, and Killian Buckley was a great minor a couple of years ago. So, but you know, Michael Rice and Michael Fennelly, two of the best in the game, and the huge losses, particularly Fennelly. But you know, maybe the field is not as big, and it maybe later on in the year there'll be a bigger loss. So Michael Fennelly very close to being back, but they wouldn't risk him this evening.
Henry Shefflin rises for this one. He's been prominent in training, played a couple of club matches. It's remarkable the way in which he has timed his recovery each season to come back from serious injury to make it back into the championship team, having never missed a match in which Brian Cody was the manager. 57th championship appearance today. Richie Hogan has got that last score against Niall Corcoran, slipping it in towards Owen Larkin, prodded away from him well, however, and very clever play by Dublin's Stephen Heine. Into the centre. Bit of a scramble as Henry Shefflin is challenged by Mick Carton. That was into the back. And the Kilkenny fans and the crowd over there in the packed stand applauding that.
Yeah, nudge in the back. Michael Carton really should have stood off there. Henry was heading straight to the line, no danger whatsoever. And you can see there he gave a gesture to the crowd, delighted to win that ball.
Well, Dublin will be conscious that they can ill afford to give away frees, and there's got to be a change now. And David Tracy is the one who is coming in, and that's Conall Keeney's afternoon finished rather quickly, and that is a huge shame. Henry Shefflin striking, and Henry Shefflin puts it to the left this time. Didn't quite make it. One success, one failure from 2 frees taken so far.
Yeah, and a big call by Kilkenny. He's been out all year. You know, Richie Power and Owen Larkin, 2 very good free takers as well. But Henry is the man usually, but very tough conditions this evening for free takers.
Ryan O'Dwyer, 20 metres in. JJ Delaney takes it down. Back out here as far as Richie Doyle, the left half backs, playing like an old veteran already. Richie Hogan balances off his stick, but couldn't quite contain it. And it's going to be a line ball for Dublin. 3 points apiece. An awful lot of people in hurling circles have had the feeling that this is the best chance that this Dublin team are likely to get of dethroning the champions. But can they actually succeed? We're looking at Shane Durkin, used to be the left half back. Johnny McCaffrey in, trying to get his stick to it. Owen Larkin's there as well for Kilkenny in the colours of James Stephens, and eventually emerging with it is TJ Reid from Ballyhale Shamrocks. Reid in a mesmerising run here. Off he goes to Richie Power. Reid, goal! So typical of Kilkenny. 17 minutes gone, and TJ Reid gets his first ever championship goal. He set it up himself. Richie Power was involved, and the finish was devastating.
Jared, that's an absolutely brilliant goal. Brilliant angle by Richie Power to take the pass originally, and then unselfish across to Reid, and a great finish. But what a goal. Richie Power hasn't been on the ball, and talk about burst of speed. Just that lovely dummy there, and a great hand pass, switched hands there, and TJ Reid was never going to miss from there. Great goal by Kilkenny.
Well, that will do his confidence an immense amount of good, as the referee now calls across Killian Buckley for a foul on Ryan O'Dwyer, I think it is. No name taken that I could see, so a warning for the youngster. Killian Buckley, who is 20 years of age, plays for Dixborough. First big championship occasion for him, along with Richie Doyle. This has been the Brian Cody way, to just bring along 1 or 2 players each year. So there's nothing terribly dramatic at any stage, the way some teams start with maybe 5 or 6 championship newcomers. Here's Paul Ryan. Dublin need a response quickly, and Paul Ryan is able to provide it with his 3rd point, his 2nd pointed free. His team now behind by 3 to 4 points. Only 2 points between them.
Yeah, you'd have to say that both backlines, you know, really on top. A lot of ball coming down to Dublin forwards, but Brian Hogan in particular at centre back, JJ Delaney, a couple of good catches. They're dominating so far, and the same with the Dublin backs apart from the goal. Kilkenny beginning to win more possession. Kilkenny
have killed teams in the past with their capacity to get goals, and this time the referee gives a free for a foul there by Tomas Brady. It's on the full forward, Richie Power.
Yeah, that's the 2nd free. Tomas Brady has moved into full back, where obviously he would have played before his injury. Peter Kelly gone back into the corner after having an outstanding year last year full back, and that's 2 frees now that Tomas Brady has given away needlessly, really.
Henry Shefflin, 1 from 2 so far from just the edge of the D, and he could hardly miss from there, and didn't. So a well taken point by Henry. This puck out's gone short, as far as Peter Kelly, who, as Michael Dagner was saying, has gone to left corner back. That's dropped by Paul Ryan. Now he's got to try and get after it himself. Helped out here by Mick Carton, swept across over here towards Ryan again. Back once again, it comes to Stephen Heine. Great to see him back after a long injury also. Down into the corner, out by Doyle. Jackie Turrell's over there as well to try and help out. And it ends up being a line ball, and it'll be a line ball for Dublin. Linesman down there is John Sexton. And John Sexton just waiting for the player to come across to take it. That's David Tracy. He's the sub who's just come in place of Conal Keeney, who sadly didn't last terribly long because of an injury. Cut in well. That's dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Could have gone anywhere.
The little bit of luck you need sometimes.
Dublin were appealing that it was touched by a defender last. It might have been a 65. Let's have another look at this one here. Sticks up into the air.
It was indeed David Herity, the goalie. Went off his hand, I think, there.
Yeah,
definitely should be a 65. And umpire right beside it there didn't see it.
Well, the rain's into the eyes of the umpires. It's into the eyes of our camera personnel as well.
It's a hard evening for everybody out there.
I'm afraid so. One of those days. Broken down by Henry Shefflin. Tommy Welch onto it quickly. Up as far as Richie Hogan. Prodded on beautifully to Richie Power. Beautiful turn. Tries to get away there from his man. Got enough latitude and it hung for a moment. Well taken by the goalkeeper. All-star Gary Maguire. And the referee has noted the umpire.
I think he's going to give a free out for a nudge in the back, in fairness to Shane Durkin. He got his body between him and the ball, and there's a nudge in the back there, a little nudge.
The person doing the nudging was Richie Hogan. So Gary Maguire, one of 6 players from Ballyboden, reigning Dublin champions. Mind you, they won't be able to get 6 in a row because they were knocked out of the championship by Coola a few weeks ago. Still a mighty achievement to do 5 in a row in Dublin. Johnny McCaffrey onto it quickly from Lucan Sarsfield, and that's the kind of shot that should have been going over the bar. He had enough time, he had momentum, and he really should have slotted that over, I think. Yeah,
that's 2 great chances Johnny has had. He broke onto a ball earlier that Paul Ryan passed him. Simple chance on any day. I know there's rain out there, but that should be just flicked over the bar, and bad miss.
David Herity, Dublin-based school teacher, pucking it out for Kilkenny. Shane Durkin back in the middle of the park for Dublin. Paul Murphy going backwards, and coming out against him there was JJ Delaney, and the referee has seen there's an injury to a Kilkenny player, and I think deciding that very wisely it's important to bring treatment out immediately. It's Paul Murphy. He was pretty much flattened there. Combination of players. Liam Rush caught him as well, and JJ Delaney was also jumping. All eyes on the ball. They weren't looking at the corner back.
He took a heavy knock. Liam Rush is a big man, and as you say, going for the ball, but just ploughed into the back of him, and I'm sure he'll be okay in a minute.
He had some year last year, Paul Murphy, the young army man. Came in, Brian Cody, I remember in the match against Wexford, down in Wexford Park, about this time last year, he ended up, I think, playing wing back at one stage, then moved to corner back.
I think he started right half back that evening and went back in the corner. Brilliant year, and carried that right through the league. He's been outstanding for them.
He has. Right now it's Dublin who are trying to get possession there in their own full back line, but it's Richie Hogan out as far as TJ Reid, the goal scorer, and he puts it inside the right hand post. The umpires are quite definite that it was a point there by TJ Reid. He's got a goal and 2. A couple of Dublin defenders questioned this. Just watch it again here now. Yes, so too did Peter Kelly and the goalkeeper, but it's Kilkenny who have the lead by 1-5 to 4 points. Very important now that Dublin get the next score. Joey Boland having his hands full against TJ Reid. Down towards Ryan O'Dwyer. I haven't seen very much of him so far. I've seen Richie Doyle, however. Here he is again. Jackie Tyrrell taking it, driving it 50 metres into the wind. Taken down by Richie Hogan cleverly. 2 players after him. Niall Corcoran was one of them, and the referee says you fouled him. And the former Galway underage star Niall Corcoran concedes the free here to the impish Richie Hogan, who showed a fair bit of pace there going across for that.
And you just watch his right hand, it's out, and he just leans on his back, but it is a free. Very clever play by Richie Hogan. The position again of the Kilkenny players who are going for the ball, they get their body between the ball and the man, and they make you foul them.
Henry Shefflin with 2 pointed frees so far out of 3 attempts, and this one is high and it's accurate, and it's another one for Henry and Kilkenny. So far so good. They knew that they would get a fair old battle from his team. He was wondering whether his side could measure Kilkenny today. This was the big test. Kilkenny are the yardstick. Comes back here to Stephen Heine, and Heine drives it right, and that's not what Dublin want at this stage. The confidence will begin to ooze from them. They've got 5 wides now at this stage.
Yeah, Jaron, they're also, with a wind, the tendency is always to drive the ball in long and high, and it's not working. JJ Delaney is winning everything in the air. Brian Hogan, very strong. They need to stick to their game plan, keep spreading the ball and making the Dublin defender, or the Kilkenny defenders, run and spread them out.
Richie Power from a lovely pass by Paddy Hogan from the middle of the park, and thumbs up for Hogan from Richie Power, his first point. Remember, he made the goal as well. He was involved in that after 17 minutes with TJ Reid. Went off himself this time, took it wide of Tomas Brady. Angle wasn't the easiest, but what a good score. 1-7 to 4 points. What a catch by Brian Hogan. Former captain did well there. This time it's won by Liam Rush. They need more of his presence and a bigger impact from the 22-year-old. They get it back here, and that is fired away to the right-hand side, and it's another missed chance from the middle of the park. Shane Durkin this time, the one who has missed the opportunity. Look at this here. Tremendous centre-half back play by Brian Hogan.
Great catch, and Liam Rush was pulling hard on the ball. Brilliant catch, and Tommy Walsh delayed a little bit with the delivery and was blocked down. And again, another bad wide from the middle of the field.
Nearly 8.5 minutes since Dublin last scored, and they are behind, as you can see, by 1-7, 10 points to 4. And their forwards are causing problems for the Dublin backs. This time Heine. Oof. Tomas Brady needing a bit of help here because it's back with Owen Larkin. Back in towards Colin Fennelly, had an injury early on, this time gets first run on this. Lovely play inside. Richie Power, could be a second. It is a second, and Kilkenny lead the match by 2-7 to 4 points. He made one, he scored one, and there are just 27 minutes gone.
Yeah, Jared, great teamwork again. Colin Fennelly, as I said earlier, great pace, but look at that, had the vision, looked up, and where is the marking? Great finish by Richie Power. He was the player of the league before he got injured, missed the league final. Colin Fennelly, lovely ball inside, and simple finish for a player like Richie Power.
They're just full of invention, they're full of life, and they're creating so many opportunities. This time Kelly stands firm, and Peter Kelly drives it back down the field, but they're getting nothing. The ball isn't sticking there. They're not able to beat the Kilkenny backs, who are tough and resolute. And that time JJ Delaney turned around 360 degrees before firing it out towards TJ Reid. Johnny McCaffrey there as well for Dublin. This time it's Kelly and Buckley. Captained the Miners against Clare in the All-Ireland final a couple of years ago. Almost kept in play, but not quite by Henry Shefflin. And the linesman across on that far side, who is Johnny Ryan of Tipperary, right on the spot.
Ger, how many times have we seen this over the years? In the first 10 minutes Dublin were well on top, and yet Kilkenny were still there 3 points to 2, and all of a sudden now they've pulled away 9 points up. But if you watch their close control, their first touch, the speed to get the ball into their hand, Owen Larkin, Richie Power, Colin Fennelly, they're down near the ground, Richie Hogan, and it's one little flick up. For any young lad watching, their left hand is down only an inch or two off the ground, and the ball is quickly into their hand and away to go.
Well, some of the Dublin players are just having a very, very poor afternoon so far. I don't know whether or not the pressure on them coming into this was a little too great. The expectations in certain quarters had been raised by good enough performances, but at the moment they are really in difficulty, and you can see a change has been made. I think that's Niall Corcoran who's gone off. Meanwhile, Liam Rush trying to advance. Henry Shefflin's after him, slipping the little hand pass that was intended for Shane Durkin, intercepted by Killian Buckley. Tommy Walsh has it, helped out there by Brian Hogan. Great understanding all the way up there towards Colin Fennelly. Fennelly manages to keep it in. And Dublin have brought on Rory Traynor, who's number 26. And he's come on in place of Niall Corcoran. Again they advance, and this time it's Paul Murphy who's saying it was shoulder to shoulder. The referee doesn't buy that, and it's going to be a free in. And Dublin's injured player is in a fair bit of distress there. It looks to be Danny Sutcliffe.
He is, Jeremy lost control of the ball coming in there and he got hit very hard by Paul Murphy. I thought originally it was into the chest, but it wasn't too far off the shoulder, but he seems to be in a lot of distress.
Well, Dublin have made 2 changes already. One of them enforced, that was the injury to Kilkenny early on. And now they've just taken off their cornerback Niall Corcoran, who has been one of their mainstays over the last few years, excelled in last year's league final against Kilkenny. So that's a tactical change, and now they can ill afford to lose Sutcliffe as well. This is the shoulder. Well, that's the shoulder, but it wasn't quite flush shoulder to shoulder. Sutcliffe, I think, just turned, and Murphy might have been full of intent on getting it right. He got a yellow card instead, by the way, so that is the first of the match. And that free has been hit by Paul Ryan. So a score that Dublin required. And Paul Ryan has hit 4 points out of 5 scores for Dublin so far. And 3 of those 4, I think, were from frees. David Herity's puck out. But 5 minutes to go to half time. Richie Hogan coming across here, fresh air puck with one hand. Back it comes down to Stephen Heine, drives it. Hogan reaches up with the stick, takes it under control, slips the little hand pass forward, and there's always somebody anticipating and always somebody breaking. Jackie Tyrrell this time. Sutcliffe's okay, he's back there, beavering as ever, but dispossessed by Hogan. He's in everybody's face today, his work rate's incredible. That's Richie Hogan now, the younger brother of Paddy. There's another Kilkenny player down injured, I think it's Paul Murphy. Play continues, Dublin have it, it's Ryan O'Dwyer. They're looking for him to make an impact. Gets it in there beyond McCormack. Paul Ryan racing for it and stealing it brilliantly there was Richie Doyle. What a dispossession. Walsh back out here as far as Paddy Hogan. And Hogan drives it up towards his brother Richie, who comes across, takes it with the left paw and then fires it towards Dublin's goal, but it's just going to go a metre or so to the left. But the combined cohesive play of Kilkenny in all kinds of weather conditions is remarkable.
Yeah, great play there, Richie Doyle, who's been very, very good during the league. Played centre back in the under-21 team the other night that beat Wexford, and great player, and very similar in style to JJ Delaney, who's back in at full back, and what a game he's having again tonight. But Brian Hogan really at centre back for Kilkenny is the player who's really setting the tone of the game. He's been outstanding since the start.
Well, there's no stopping Kilkenny so far. Have Dublin got the answers? That's Sutcliffe. A goal will do them nicely. Not on this occasion. Herity comes out, but it's blocked by Ryan O'Dwyer. He looks at the umpire and the referee, and they both decide he got the last touch. 33 minutes in, 2 goals and 7 points to 5 points. A little bit of danger there for a moment for David Herity, but he coped really well. This is a big doubleheader we have for you tomorrow on the Sunday game. Our programme starts at 1:30. Ulster football, that's down against Monaghan, and then from Munster, it's Cork against Tipperary. As much a part of the summer as, I suppose, the showers on occasions and the occasional bit of sunshine as well. So hurling and football tomorrow, not to be missed. Sunday game live, starting on this station at 1:30.
Yeah, Brian Hogan I was talking about earlier, what a run right up through the centre, and I think he'd lost control really. I think he was lucky enough to win the free there. He was given it, but he must have ran 70 yards, and Tommy Walsh had a great catch. And watch Kilkenny's little simple hand pass all the time to get themselves out of trouble.
And Shefflin from a very central position. It's mere target practice for him, but the scores mount up, and that's now 24 goals, 429 points.
I think the next one is the 500, is it, Jared?
I believe so.
What a record, he's so far ahead. He took over from Eddie Kerr a couple of years ago, and probably never be, will anyone else ever get anywhere close to 500 points? What a career.
Alan McCrabb has just come on for Conor McCormack, and there he is, number 20, former All-Star. David Tracy turning this way and that, slipping it towards McCrabb, and he was unlucky. He was trying to make a run, it came off his heel came back kindly for Kilkenny, and Richie Doyle. There's looking a storming match in there. It's so many stars. Colin Fennelly dragged back, fouled, and the referee might have allowed him an advantage, but deciding instead to have a word with Johnny McCaffrey. Well, it's a significant lead, 2-8 to 5 points. Henry Shefflin to take this. I'm assuming he's going to try and land it in the square, but you never know with Henry. Final minute of the opening 35. It's high, it's dropping, it's over the bar. There you go. 500 championship points scored by one of the greatest ever, Henry Shefflin. He's made it 2-9 to 5 points.
Yeah, what a way to do it. Obviously the wind is swirling out there, but caught that brilliantly from well over halfway and over the bar. Great score and great milestone to reach.
Shane Durkin. And again, the pass going astray. So many passes are going astray. The ball's been turned over so many times by Dublin in this match. Henry Shefflin battling over there. And this time the referee has blown against Mick Carton. And for not retreating, Kilkenny are going to get an even easier free because the ball has been brought forward.
Yeah, Michael Carton, he's trying to mark tight, which is fair enough, but you have to you have to be clever enough and get away for that split second and play the ball. You can't just play the man, and that's the second or third time that he's given away frees like that.
Shefflin is 5 scores from 6 frees taken so far. He's in the groove, 6 from 7.
I think you can see the confidence coming back into him. He's been out, this is his first game of this calendar year. I think he's only played 6 league matches since in the last 6 years.
It's an amazing stat, isn't it?
But hasn't missed a championship match since 1999. He's 57 game in a row, which is incredible as well.
And that's David Tracy to try and get one back, and he's done so. Number 15 didn't start the match, came on as a sub, and he has got Dublin's 6th point. It's a very disappointing tally. They had the breeze and the rain behind them for the opening 35 minutes. Yeah, and you made a point earlier, Jared, about maybe some Dublin players not playing up to scratch. But I think, to be fair to them, to their 6 backs, you're playing against an unbelievable forward line. Every one of them are just lethal on their own. They're all match winners. All of them are all stars. They're just impossible to mark. And and they're also up for the game. They want to win everything that they're playing. And it's a tribute to Brian Cody's management, the way they can go year after year and just retain that hunger. Well, it would be useful, of course, to those 6 Dublin backs if their forwards could just manage to retain possession a little bit and threaten the Kilkenny back 6 a little more. Hasn't happened really. The ball has kept on coming back time and again into the faces of these players here, Stephen Heine and company. And so at half-time it's Kilkenny, with Henry Shefflin having just scored 500 championship points, 501 in fact at this stage as he goes off. The goal scored by TJ Reid after 17 minutes, and then 10 minutes later it was Richie Power, having made the first, got the second. And here in Portlaoise, it is looking very good for Kilkenny, the champions. Kilkenny 2-10, Dublin 6 points. We'll have analysis immediately after this. Do stay with us.
It's half-time in Portlaoise in this Leinster Hurling semi-final between Kilkenny and Dublin. Kilkenny leading 2 goals and 10 points to Dublin's 6 points. Liam Sheedy, Gerlach Nan with me here in O'Moore Park. It's slipping away from them, Liam.
Yeah, very much so. We were just saying when they went for the toss that Dublin had the breeze, we were saying great, Dublin get a chance to get off to an even start, and they had a reasonably good start. They went 2 points clear, but my God, when Kilkenny got going, into a really stiff breeze here, they've been awesome here again this first half. Their backs are well on top. They're winning all the ball back there. And when the ball comes up in front, their movement up front, they've got Dublin in serious trouble. Dublin they've made 3 substitutions. Conal Keaney going off, but the other 2 were forced substitutions because Niall Corcoran wasn't playing that well, and David Tracy's into the game as well. So it's really hard to know where Dublin are going to go from here. They're 10 points down after playing with a really strong breeze. So they've a lot of work ahead of them in the second half.
Before the match, I asked you 2 lads if the conditions, and they are quite bad as people can see. It's raining quite heavily. If that would make a difference fairness, you said, look, it'll suit a skillful team.
That's exactly it. And the more skillful team is Kilkenny. And not alone are they more skillful, they're more aware of where each other is. Their team plays much better. They're much more aggressive. And they cannot believe, the Dublin targeted this game all year. And next thing they come out and they absolutely flop. They're stuck to the ground. They're slow into the challenge. They're letting forwards pass them by almost without a tackle.
I suppose, Ger, Kilkenny are not multiple champions for nothing.
No, but even Kilkenny aren't playing at the pace that we have often seen them play before. They're playing with great cuteness. The diagonal ball across the field is just catching out Dublin time after time, and the interchanging of the forwards, Dublin backs are totally incapable of coping with it.
First couple of minutes, Liam, I suppose Dublin got a couple of points and got the crowd cheering and behind them.
Yeah, they did. They got two fabulous scores starting off. And we would have said that they required a good start. And they were winning some good ball and were looked to be holding their own. And here's Paul Ryan breaking onto a ball that Jackie Hill dropped. And that's a great score off his right hand side, and it wouldn't be his preferred side. And that put him 2 points to 1 up. And then this is probably one of the scores of the match so far. In fairness, they worked hard to get this ball up. And when Danny Sutcliffe gets this ball into his hand, he's a lot of work to do. There he is, like he's a long way from goal there. And my word, what ground he makes up. He goes straight down along the side. This guy is very, very exciting prospect. And he gets the ball onto the ground, and all of a sudden off his left hand side over the bar, you think, right, there's game on here. That's 3 points to 1. There's 7 minutes on the clock, and they're in a good start. But after that, I'm afraid it was one-way traffic.
It was, and the one bit of that traffic that went into the Dublin goal was the first Kilkenny goal, Ger. Now, I have to say, this was a super goal. And maybe a few questions about the defence as well.
Well, you can, even leaving out the defence, this was absolutely brilliant. Not alone the skill, but the awareness of by the Kilkenny players of where the support player is. It comes from a rock here first. TJ Reid breaks forward. The composure that he has in breaking forward. No. Men are very slow to tackle him now. Here's the man, Richie Power. Look at 2-4 men around him. Just lose him and finds out the loose man, the man who was after giving him the pass 50 yards out. He's now inside of the edge of the square. Nobody has chased him in. But it's that awareness of where each other is. That's way beyond Dublin. That has come from years of playing together. It also comes from having class players like Richie Power, like TJ Reid. But Power is a genius. He's absolutely genius in picking out a man like that. And to think that he's just after coming back from injury.
I know.
He didn't play for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
It's just unreal.
Look, Liam, that was a mighty goal. Let's look at the second Kilkenny goal, because the one thing you would have to say about this, I reckon, is you can't leave a man standing in front of the goal.
No, Dublin will be very disappointed with this goal. This is a ball they look to have under control. There's Stephen Heine coming out, winning the ball, and you're just waiting for the ball to go to the far end of the field. And a missed hand pass, and Owen Larkin breaks onto it. And when he gets that ball across, you still don't think there's a whole lot of danger on. But Colin Fennelly breaks onto it. But in ghosting in behind all the time, they're artists at this. And Richie Power ghosts in behind him when he gets in there, shortens the hurley. Great goal, but I think Dublin, as soon as the first goal went in, when we were looking at it here, we said, God, the heads are starting to go down. They conceded 4-17 against them in the Leinster final last year, and maybe the heads dropped. And I think they've lost their composure there in the second quarter of that second half. And as I said, they're really facing an uphill battle. I'm sure Anthony's in there now. What could you say to a team? They're after playing with the breeze and they're 10 points down. It's all about trying to get a resemblance on the scoreboard in the second half.
He'll be saying to them, let's try and get going in the second half of this one. It is only half time, but there is a 10-point gap. More on this match after the break. Live tomorrow here on RTE Television, we have a double header for you. It's Down and Monaghan in the Ulster Football Championship. That's first, and then it's followed by the second of this year's Munster Hurling semi-finals. That, of course, is Cork against Tipperary at Páirc Uí Chaoimh, and we are on the air tomorrow from 1:30 here on RTE 2. And by the way, mentioning of hurling, on Monday morning, you can hear on RTE Radio the qualifier draw, Phase 2, that will be on Morning Ireland just after 8:30. And back here too later on this evening on RTE Television. It's the third of this year's Euro 2012 quarterfinals. It's Spain and France, and that programme starts at 7 o'clock. Gentlemen, the Dubs are back out onto the field already. The Féile players and the young age players hadn't actually left the field when they came out, so they obviously said, Anthony Daly has obviously said, look,
I say
get out there.
A short, sharp message, get out there. It's the Leinster final all over again. 9 points down last year in the Leinster final, 10 points down today. I think, Liam, the big difference is, when you see Dublin striking the ball, they're hitting it up into the air, kind of lobbing it. Kilkenny lads strike the ball. It's a strike all the way through. The shot is through, it's over the bar, it's accurate. And the Dublin have had 7 or 8 terrible wides in the first half. And when you have the wind and you send those wides from around the middle of the field, it depresses the whole lot.
And yet another change, Liam, on the Dublin team. Ross O'Carroll replacing Shane Durkin.
Yeah, that's their fourth sub in, Russell Carroll. They'll be trying to put a big man in on the edge of the square. It'll probably be limited possession. Clearly they need goals. It's not something that they managed to do again. They got 6 in the league, but really in championship, they got 1 last year. They need a goal or 2 to try and drag themselves back into this game. But I think now at this stage they'll really be looking for a second half performance that gives them something to build on going into the qualifiers, because it's very hard to see. As I said, this Kilkenny team were awesome in the first half, and as Gerard said, you just can't afford it. Some of the wides in the first half that Dublin had were very poor. They really needed to get a hold of that match and get that 4 or 5 clear. But as I said, Kilkenny, they just look to be no match in them this evening.
Well, men with experience on the Dublin sideline. You saw Anthony Daly there, Richie Power, of course, former tip great, who is his assistant there as well. They've been doing all they can with this team, but when you have fellas like Tommy Walsh in the park playing against you, it's not easy, is it? Let's go back to the commentary box to rejoin Ger Canning and Michael Duignan.
Thank you, Michael. Liam Rush has gone to midfield where he's partnering Johnny McCaffrey for Dublin, as you say, and as we can see now, 10 points between them. And the panel making the point. Goals are needed, Michael, but it's very hard to see how you can get goals against Kilkenny.
Well, it's an uphill battle. They're playing against the wind, and I think they're playing for pride now. And Liam Rush, always goes out the field, and great start by him.
Well, he was probably hoping to advance a bit more there. It's Paddy Hogan who's been spoken to by the referee, and I think there's going to be a card. Liam Rush was on his way, but it's going to be a free instead, and a card for the midfielder. So Paddy Hogan, the 25-year-old, playing his 4th championship match today, becomes the second player to get a yellow card for Kilkenny. The first was Paul Murphy.
Yeah, he's a good strong runner, and hard to see now from that angle. Maybe we cut out the camera, the replay before we saw the foul, but Paddy Hogan definitely booked.
Paul Ryan hits another one, and Paul Ryan has put this one wide. Only 3 of Dublin's 6 points have come from play. Paul Ryan has got 4 points, 3 from frees. David Herity ready to restart for Kilkenny. Driving rain again in their favour, blowing down towards the town end, and the wind supporting the champions as well, of course. Going for 8 in a row in Kilkenny, or in Leinster this year. They will be Kilkenny. Awaiting them in the final in a couple of weeks' time will be Galway. Ryan O'Dwyer has come out around the 40 here, hammered back there by Paddy Hogan for Kilkenny, trying to break it down. TJ Reid, that fell up from the hand there of Colin Fennelly to Richie Power, leaves it behind him. The pull was a bit wild, and it's going to be a free out. Have a little look at this one again here. Stick used a little bit loosely there. That was taken by Tomas Brady for Dublin. Ross O'Carroll is the new player in that you've heard about, got into full forward. Meanwhile, Owen Larkin turns, strikes it down towards Richie Hogan, somehow manages to hold on to it like a conjurer. Keeps it away there from Rory Traynor when the first half sub. That's some point. That is really quite excellent. He's got a second point, and each and every one of them has been well worth coming to see. How did he catch it? How did he hold it? And then how did he get away and strike it over the bar?
Yeah, he's great control, low centre of gravity. In the league finally came back after 2 broken ribs and a punctured lung a few weeks earlier, and had a great game, and he has brilliant skill and great ball control.
Yeah, at one stage they were saying he might be out for 7 weeks, I think, at that stage, Michael, and I think he was back after 4.
Well, the first ball of that game, I was sitting in the stand just in front of it, and he ran into Sean O'Halpine and he drove him out over the line for a line ball, and he was coming back, and I said to the lads with me, I said he must be hurt after that, and he just, next thing he was 70 yards away the far side of the field, playing right half forward that day, and that's the side of his game he's really developed.
Bundle of energy. There's his brother Paddy inside towards Tommy Welch, nobody near him. He can still advance, nobody into challenge, and he's put the ball wide. Won't be too pleased with that. Given plenty of room.
It was
here.
too easy for him. He had loads of time, nearly too much time, and he said, why not have a go?
Paddy Hogan breaks it down. TJ Reid advancing as well, getting there ahead of Liam Rush. Comes out towards Joey Boland. Wouldn't come up for him. Pitch is in very good condition, but so much water has fallen down here over the last 6 or 7 hours. It has made life very difficult for the players and uncomfortable for the spectators. As TJ Reid hand passes it forward, a hit and hope one there. Trainer goes down, helped out here by Stephen Heine. Slipped a little hand pass as far as Joey Boland, and in the end the other member of the half back line, Mick Carton, gets it away only as far as Richie Doyle, and diagonally across it comes towards Colin Fennelly, the CIT student, and he was held back, no question about that. Peter Kelly was holding him on the 45-metre line.
Yeah, I think if you look at the Kilkenny backs, Gerard, the way they hold their position, Richie Doyle has picked up so much ball and just in his own position. The same with Tommy Walsh on the other side. They don't get dragged up and down the field. You've seen a lot of calls, and this diagonal ball all the time now. Tommy Walsh is playing it every time he gets the ball now across to Richie Hogan, and a great ball again by Richie Doyle, and Colin Fennelly out in front of his man, and a clear foul.
So it's Henry Shefflin, now 33 years of age, standing over this one. Scored 6 points in the first half, and he just keeps on repeating his party piece. Well, so far what we've seen from Henry is shooting which is quite exemplary from frees. It's only missed one. Still easing himself back into the general run of play, of course. That's understandable. Johnny McCaffrey, as far as Rush, former Young Player of the Year. Great feet, great pace, takes off. Where's he going to finish? Took too much. Free out.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky. Great run. He's very strong when he builds up ahead of steam, and you know, he's obviously trying very hard in the middle of the field. You're not going to walk through, but he made a great run and just overcarried in the end. You can see there he took a lot of steps.
Yeah. That's JJ Delaney down there in considerable distress. Went off in the league final with a dead leg. As that ball is hammered in, it's one back, and one back brilliantly. Out by Tomas Brady to Rush. Slipped into the middle here as far as Alan McCrabb. Out it goes as far as Ryan O'Dwyer, and Ryan O'Dwyer marks the occasion with his first point. Well, he'll remember it for the goals he got in the All-Ireland quarter-final last year against Limerick. Real tour de force that day. Dublin's first score of the second half.
Yeah, and a lovely bit of play. Great catch by Tomas Brady in his own square, and he came out, fed Alan McCrabb, and he played a low ball into space, and great score by Ryan O'Dwyer.
Rory Traynor under pressure again from Richie Hogan, but he manages to do well. Manfully gets it away, and it's slipped away from him just as he's about to clear the danger. But a line ball to Dublin will be the outcome. This is good play by Richie Hogan there, flicking it away, not prepared to give up on anything. Number 15 becomes the first line of defence in the Kilkenny motto. Well, 12,000 people are watching this, a little bit more than that, in appallingly wet conditions, and the Kilkenny fans among them certainly will be well satisfied by what they've seen, and they'll be hoping to take the short route towards not just another Leinster title, but a two in a row in the All-Ireland, of course, as well. The short route, as we all know, being a matter of just 4 games. Leinster semi-final, this one here. Leinster final in 2 weeks' time, I think it is. All-Ireland semi in August, and maybe an All-Ireland final, as per usual, in September. The Kilkenny way. And suddenly, Richie Power got himself in acres of space. And he's now got a goal and 2.
Yeah, and that's too easy, you know. He could stand up there and hit that ball over the bar, way too much space.
Well, a player, Richie Power, that everybody was concerned about in April, I think it was, when he got a serious injury, but thankfully, once it had been examined, it wasn't that serious. TJ Reid puts this one away to the right-hand side, and that is now second wide of the second half for Kilkenny, in a total of 6 in all. But overall, they have been very measured in their approach. Their play has always been strong, forceful, creative. It's exactly what you expect from the champions. Question is, Michael, can anybody seriously dint their ambitions?
Well, it's early in the year. They look very good tonight again, very good in the league. But the long way to go over the summer. Tips and Corks of this world, and Galway now obviously waiting at the Leinster final. They'll all fancy their chances, but Michael Rice and Michael Fennelly to come back as well. They're just going to get stronger as the year goes on.
And Jackie Tyrrell here is getting stronger as this game is going on. Towards the half forwards, one back by Johnny McCaffrey again, slipping the little hand pass here. Paul Ryan back once again to Liam Rush, well blocked down by Jackie Tyrrell, and Tommy Welch taking inspiration from that, fires it down along the line. Tomas Brady was hooped there as he was trying to get that ball away, and good play by Richie Power.
Yeah, and Jerry made that point a few minutes ago about the Kilkenny forwards tackling. I think they're probably underrated in that respect, and also their physical conditioning. They're very, very fit, and they never seem to tire at all in games. They finish as strongly as they start.
Richie Hogan looking for another one, and Richie Hogan has sorry, not Richie, but rather Paddy Hogan puts over his first point, and that's his first point in the championship for Brian Cody's team, in front of an attendance here of 12,446. 214 to 7 points. Paddy Hogan again challenging. Henry Shefflin goes back, shows no ill effects of any shoulder or leg injuries that have affected him in the past. Great ball down from Richie Doyle to another Richie Hogan. Off the post it comes, back out. Colin Fennelly unable to get to the end of that one, and it's going to be a puck out for Dublin. They are just relentless, unremitting in their approach, absolutely tormenting Dublin. Puck out quickly taken to Johnny McCaffrey. 11 minutes into the second half. Here's McCrabb, clever player. Diagonally across here, but there are too many Kilkenny players there, and that's taken beautifully away there. Richie Doyle helping out, comes out towards Brian Hogan, who had a storming opening to this match. Two Dublin defenders in difficulty. Power comes in. They've already got 2 goals. He looks for more. He's got a point instead. Richie Power, 1-3 for him. That's some return.
Yeah, and Jared, he's been a great player for Kilkenny, but in the last couple of years in particular, I think when Henry Shefflin has had such serious injuries and been out, he's really assumed the leadership of that forward line, and a brilliant free taker as well. But 1-3 after being out himself for the last couple of months with a serious injury.
Well, Liam Rush is saying that's a harsh call. He's looking across towards the linesman on this side, and now Barry Kelly's going to talk to Johnny Ryan. I think the call originally was for too many steps, and now he's changed his mind.
Yeah, judging by Barry Kelly, maybe picked up something from the linesman on the earpiece, and that's why he stopped the game. And
it might benefit Dublin. Tracy dispossessed, initially at least. He goes after it again. Paul Murphy was the one who stopped Tracy in his tracks in that initial approach. Once again, it's going to be a line ball for Dublin, which Alan McGrath is going to take. Dublin with only 7 points so far on the scoreboard, having made 4 substitutions. Kilkenny are now about to make a change, and Kilkenny's Noel Hickey is coming in, and JJ Delaney is going off.
Yeah, great cheer for Noel Hickey, and what a sub to bring in a Leinster semi-final. One of the great full-backs, and JJ Delaney took a knock and no point risking any further injury.
And once again it is Richie Doyle. He's playing like a veteran in there. That's well caught there. Owen Larkin balances it somehow, drives it away down. Good low delivery, clever ball to the forwards. Nothing hit haphazardly. They try to measure it on every occasion. Power comes out, the running is strong. the finishing of Henry Shefflin leaves a little bit to be desired just now.
Yeah,
only the second one he's missed.
Yeah, and he's obviously going to be rusty, but a great game. You know, they're well ahead now and they can leave him on, get plenty of hurling time into him. Great catch there by Owen Larkin. And you mentioned Richie Power, he was the one who cleared that out to him. What's going to happen if Noel Hickey comes back in at full back, JJ Delaney to go back in the wing? You know, it's such a...
Well, one of them might miss the photograph, but apart from that, it's a 20-man game, isn't it?
I know, but none of them lads want to be on the bench.
McCrabb. Where is that going to end up? I think the breeze isn't doing him any favours, and it drags away in towards the terraces, and it's gone astray. But the way in which Kilkenny approach each attack and use every ball, a couple of more changes being made right now, and Dublin have made their final change, and that's the familiar figure of Dopsy O'Callaghan coming on, number 22, and Paul Ryan is the one who's going off. And John Tennyson, I think, might well also be about to come in. Here's Rush. Ryan O'Dwyer. Well, it's a very early stage in the match with 20 minutes still to go for Dublin to have used all 5 substitutions. Jackie Tyrrell back there. Indestructible. That's one that favours the left half, Mick Carton. Rush now, steps away from trouble. Joey Boland given the task of playing it forward to Danny Sutcliffe. Started very promisingly, needs a few scores now to get the confidence going, and in these awful weather conditions he can't quite put it over, but he's a young player. 10 wides now by Dublin. Danny Sutcliffe's only 20. Plays for St. Jude's.
He is, whatever chance Dublin have to move the ball quicker. You know, they're taking 2 or 3 passes there, you know, within a very short space or a small area out in the field, and they're just allowing the Kilkenny backs to get back in place.
Well, it's a commentary, Michael, on the way things have gone for Dublin in this match. They have absolutely redrawn their team. Apart from the goalkeeper, most lines have had an alteration at this stage.
I think they're going to be very, very, very disappointed. You know, Gerald Nan said it at half time, but to prepare all year, you know, during the league, they weren't flat out. They were a bit unlucky in a few of the matches, but it was all about coming here today and beat Kilkenny. And really, you know, it's been very disappointing from apart from the first 5 minutes. Kilkenny just owned it, and they're really not in full flow at all. Running in about second gear.
Sutcliffe playing it in, and again the referee sounding his whistle there for a free, which is going to be to Kilkenny. And the referee is going to have words with Ross O'Carroll, telling him just to calm it down a wee bit.
Sure, just look at the attitude of Noel Hickey there. He got a very, very heavy knock and straight back on his feet. Whether he's hurt or not, we don't know up here, but he wasn't going to show any sign of weakness. And it's a thing that's maybe dying out a bit in the GAA in general. You know, he just wouldn't. Just watch the knock he took here now.
Yeah, it was a frontal charge really, and the elbow was out.
But before, as we look at the replay, he was back on his feet within half a second and back in it on the edge of the square.
He's a strong farming stock. They don't wince. So in the 18th minute of the second half, more pressure on. And that's going to be a 65 as Gary Maguire forced to play it over the end line.
Yeah, Richie Power again working very, very hard, using his pace, and he forced him out for 65, and the hunger still there, you know, 14 points up. They just don't ease off.
Must remember some of these players have missed a fair bit of hurling because of injuries, so they're coming back fresh, you know.
Yeah, they're fresh and enjoying their hurling, you know, which is always the way. But a big thing I think for Kilkenny too, training down there, you know, the quality of their training matches. Look at these subs that they have, and that's a big factor.
That's Henry, that's more. Mark it down as point number 8 for the day, all of them coming from frees. Short puck out, straight to Peter Kelly. And the Lucan Sarsfield's player gives it away. Larkin advances with some purpose. He's got space, he's got latitude, and he's got a lovely shot off. Only his first point in the match, Owen Larkin. but he's been involved in so much. 5 of the 6 forwards starting have now scored, and this is the latest one. 217 to 7 points. And that's Killian Buckley finishing up his afternoon. Brian Hogan, Johnny McCaffrey, and the referee pointing in the general direction of the Kilkenny goal. McCaffrey in a hurry. That's going to drop in tantalisingly there. And once again, it's terrific play by Jackie Tyrrell, one of the stars. Dublin have been completely unable to match Kilkenny's intensity in this game. But then what's new? So many other teams have failed in that respect over the years. That was prodded on there by Rhino Dwyer. Got injured in the process. And the Kilkenny player who's come on, by the way, is Aidan Fogarty for Killian Brennan. More pressure on the Kilkenny back line, but it didn't really come to anything. Unable to develop any kind of attacks. At the other end, usual service, Richie Hogan and Rory Traynor. Well, they were almost moving together there. Just watch it again here as they were coming into the challenge. Traynor and Hogan almost auditioning for Strictly Come Dancing, but it didn't quite work out in the end. It ends up being a free to Kilkenny.
Yeah, another feature of the Kilkenny players, you know, Richie Hogan wouldn't be the tallest, but the way they bring the ball down with the hurl, you know, never let it into space, break onto it, great pace, and another easy free for Henry.
We mark it down in advance, do we?
Yeah.
He's got 8 so far out of a total of 217. He's now got 9. Very fine return for Henry Shefflin. He'll be delighted to get back out there with his colleagues.
An interesting job to see Aidan Fogarty coming on in the middle of the field. I think that's really more a reflection on the way that he's been playing in training. Obviously a forward, but all forwards, 6 forwards playing well, and Brian Cody's not, you know, in the habit of taking off lads usually that are playing well. Killian Buckley, only a young player, so I give him a rest and brought on Aidan Fogarty to get him a bit of hurling in the middle of the field.
And Matthew Ruth rather will be the next one in, number 23.
Yeah, another player who's had a fantastic. Here's Colin Fennelly now going off, who hasn't scored but has contributed, and Matthew Ruth had a great league, but he's going down the road maybe of a lot of other players like Richie Hogan, who've had to wait 2, 3, 4 years to get their chance. Paddy Hogan, who's been around the panel for a while, and Matthew Ruth on there now. He'll be eager to make an impression as well.
And you've got 1 or 2 more who have tried out in recent years but didn't quite make that breakthrough just yet.
Yeah, they don't rush them. You know, Kieran Joyce, another very good player around full-back, cornerback, he's on the bench as well.
That should be Herities. Not enough pressure on him again. Playing it sensibly out to the wings, and there's always somebody there waiting for it. This time it happens to be Paddy Hogan. Richie Power, great save! And Richie Hogan came in, and it's a double save by Gary Maguire, and he's got it again. Well, that is great goalkeeping. Something for Dublin fans here to cheer about. The performance, the heroics there of their goalkeeper in this match. Nothing he could do about the 2 goals that beat him, but he made sure that it stayed at just 2 there.
Absolutely brilliant double save. Yeah, great hand pass by Owen Larkin into Richie Power. You'll see here, shorten up the grip, great save, and look at 2 Kilkenny players coming in, and very brave. Gary Maguire down on the ball and filed Richie Hogan, and then he gets it up and wins a free out.
I think the second save was terrific as well there. Oh, it's Herity under pressure, still being pressurised there. Ross O'Carroll again eventually forcing him out over the end line. 65 to Dublin. When the goalkeeper made a good save, that's the other goalkeeper, Gary Maguire. It would be easy enough to stay on the ground. He got up very quickly and smothered it. That's another look at it there. Brilliant second save. Partial block on this, comes out towards McCrabb. Elegantly looking around here to see just who's moving. It's McCaffrey trying to thread it outside to Dotsy O'Callaghan. Couldn't get there. Instead it's Aidan Fogarty, Taggy they call him, good combined play. TJ Reid into the forwards. Ruth going towards it, but Matt Ruth couldn't get there. Trainer out to Henry Shefflin. Maybe one from play. Not quite.
Yeah, he'd be disappointed. He's had a couple of chances in the second half. You know, you always like, if you're a free taker, you like to get a couple of points from play as well. You know, you don't like lads saying only there for the frees. We know Henry Shefflin isn't there for that.
Anything but. You consider the knee injuries that he has suffered that took entire winters to come back from, and then that shoulder injury and operation which was required over the winter.
I think that this injury has been one of the most frustrating for him, because he had the knees right, and you know, in the club match in the county final under, hurt the shoulder, and initially didn't think it was too bad, and then I think was devastated to be, you know, that he was going to be out for another 6 or 7 months. But he put the head down again, and you know, come back again, as you said, coming back fresh now into the championship again, which is a huge plus for Kilkenny.
Alan McCrabb striking that one and putting it over the bar. So another point for Dublin, they're 8th. But really very poor return, only 2 points in the second half. We were looking for improvement. 2 points isn't much of an improvement with virtually an hour gone. Well, it was 18 minutes since Dublin had last scored. It's a commentary on the way things have developed for them. Very, very poor return against the best we've seen. And this is one of the best, Richie Power. A really frustrating time for the markers there. Stephen Heine first of all, and then Liam Rush. No stopping Richie Power. And Henry Shefflin on for another one here. Usual flawless finish from Freeze. So a 10-point return for Henry Shefflin, and it's 2-19 to 8 points. It's been far too easy for them.
It has, Ger, and you know, it's a huge score on a bad evening, and there's still 10 minutes to go in the game. And Kilkenny just really looked to be relaxing and enjoying their hurling, they're beginning to flow.
TJ Reid down to Larkin, who's moved to the inside line. Slipping back out towards Matt Ruth. Played in last year's Leinster final. Paddy Hogan. That's the post does him a favour, because it was heading outside, clipped off the upright, and obligingly went over. 2 points for Paddy Hogan.
Yeah, he's played really well, Ger. He's
worked hard.
Yeah, he's a very good striker. Takes a lot of the long range frees, and big cheer for Tommy Walsh going off.
So Tommy goes off, another one of the subs comes on. Big one across here. Dotsy O'Callaghan advancing with some menace, but 35 metres out, and then he is stymied. Runs into a roadblock, looks at the referee, gets nothing whatsoever. It's going to be a free out for Kilkenny.
Jerry, if you look at the reaction there of Jackie Turl, 18 points up in the game, he shepherded it out. You think it was the first minute of the game, and he celebrated after winning the free out, and it just shows you the hunger that they have. See David Herdy here, I heard a good story about him during the week, that he was looking for a tracksuit off of Rackard Cody, the Kilkenny kitman, and Rackard asked him how many All-Irelands had he, and he said he had 2, and he said, come back to me when you have a few more. He said, I'll give you one.
Well done, Rackard. Some character. That's gone wide. Well, it's Galway up next, as we know, for Kilkenny. Leinster final. And perhaps tomorrow's match, Cork versus Tipperary. They'll be trying to avoid Kilkenny if they were to meet at a semi-final stage.
Yeah, I think so. And Galway over the last number of years have suffered a few heavy defeats to Kilkenny as well. But you know, they played very well against Dublin in the relegation playoff, and they are playing well at the moment. But you know, again, huge challenge for them. And Tip and Cork, obviously, you know, they'll be trying to get a Munster Championship with Waterford in the Munster final already. But they won't be thinking too much about Kilkenny at the moment. But very, very hard to, you know, to go to see anyone stopping them at this early stage in the year.
Liam Rush. Here's Owen Larkin. So it stays at 222.8 points, and a job well done by Brian Cody. Looks forward with great relish to every one of the championships. So just 6 minutes to go now for Dublin at the end of this what has been a fair old pasting. Sutcliffe's back there, winding up to hit this diagonally across towards Dotsy O'Callaghan. Dotsy being encouraged to have a go past Jackie Tyrrell. Doesn't quite come in for him, and another one goes wide. Well, he was down with an illness over the winter and lost a lot of training time after that. Not quite as sharp as he has been in recent season, Dotsy. David Herity. Well, the game now just drawing towards its conclusion with 5 minutes to go. It'll be a very, very disappointed John McCaffrey who hits this one in. And once again, to mop it up at the back, Paul Murphy. Back down towards Matt Ruth. He'd love to score. Trainer back in there, making sure that he doesn't advance any further. There was a push, and Dublin have themselves a free. They've now got to start thinking about the qualifiers, and they'll have to recover from this very, very quickly. They're not the first team to get a heavy beating from Kilkenny. It's all about how you respond. And right now they're responding by trying to get a goal, but again stopped. And again it is Jackie Tyrrell. Familiar service from left corner back for Kilkenny. McCartan. Now Liam Rush. Sutcliffe chasing. Kilkenny's number 18, Kieran Joyce there, trying to get it back. Sutcliffe strikes, and he's put it wide. Only 8 points for Dublin, 6 points they had in the first half, and their return has been very, very, very poor. So can we remind you about tomorrow's double bill, and hopefully it will be an exciting double bill. It's Ulster football semi-final down against Monaghan, and then another semi-final in Munster hurling, the old rivals Cork against Tipperary. And our programme begins at 1:30, football at 2, hurling at 4. Should be a right good afternoon's entertainment on RTE2. Kilkenny fans will watch all of that because they are comfortably on their way to the provincial decider. Dublin flattered only to deceive. Started reasonably well in the opening 5 minutes, but after that, once Kilkenny got into their flow and once they got those vital goals, they were away. And Johnny McCaffrey right now, after the referee consulted John Sexton, is going to have his name taken. Richie Power there alongside him, the number 14 for Kilkenny, and it's 2 yellow cards. Richie Power and John McCaffrey. Well, considering the awful conditions, the players have been very disciplined. It was just the pure skill and the class of Kilkenny that shone through all the way.
Yeah, we were expecting this physical encounter, the intensity, everything. It just didn't come to bear. Kilkenny, you know, they put the game away halfway through the first half, scored a couple of goals, and this man had a huge bearing on it.
It's Power, it's Henry. Oh, what a save by Gary Maguire! The second brilliant save he's made. Wonderful. Well, it's kept the crowd on their toes and still showing a great degree of interest in what is a game which has been won by Kilkenny already, hands down. But Gary Maguire with a wonderful, wonderful piece of goalkeeping. No wonder he's the all-star keeper. A lot of people have admired his skill as a goalkeeper over recent years, and once again it shone through there. Just have a look at this as it was set up brilliantly in for Shefflin. A blistering shot and a point-blank save.
That's a brilliant save, and as you say, I mentioned before the game, he's made 3 great saves in the game, and still, to be so well beaten, it's very demoralising for him and for Dublin. And there's Owen Larkin just tipping over another one.
So Owen Larkin's got a second, and Kilkenny's total now increases to 221 to 8 points. Remember, they were 210 to 6 points up at half time. So 221's a good score, adding another 11 points. Dublin with just 2 added scores in the second half. That's a very, very poor return. And of Dublin's 8 points, 4 have come from play. So, Michael, you've had a thought about man of the match, and what's your choice?
Well, I think in the first half, Brian Hogan was brilliant, and Jackie Turrell, when their backs were to the wall. But the player that's impressed me most is Richie Power, coming back from a long injury. Scored 1 goal in the first half, set up the other goal, been involved in everything, worked very, very hard, scored 1-3 from play and won a number of frees as well. So I think he's a worthy man of the match on an even. I suppose that really in the second half they had to go through the motions, but he just kept going to the end and had a super game.
Yeah, he's back, thankfully. Injury did not curtail his season, and he is flying. So man of the match, Michael Dagnan's choice, the wonderful player, 26-year-old from Carrickshock, Richie Power. Referee once again doing a bit of consultation with his umpires as we head into stoppage time. And another yellow card was issued there. Was it to Richie Hogan?
It was indeed.
So Richie, like his brother Paddy, and Richie Power and Paul Murphy were the ones who were yellow carded as Joey Boland goes off. Dublin, for the record, had 2 yellow cards against Johnny McCaffrey and Ross O'Carroll. Dublin are now to play with 14 for the remaining few seconds of this game. They've used up their subs. They'd used them up earlier on, and Ross O'Carroll comes in here. And the final effort is a high one. It's Dotsy O'Callaghan. And Dotsy O'Callaghan, for the record, gets his one and only score of this match. 3 points then for Dublin, scored in the second half. But a miserable return overall, and Anthony Daly will have some work to do now preparing for the qualifiers. He's well capable of doing that.
Yeah, but look, it's hard on Anthony Daly. He's put in a huge effort with Dublin over the last 4 years, and to suffer a defeat like that, really, as I said earlier on, when they've earmarked this game for so long, probably since last year's championship, and or since the draw was made, and he'd be very, very disappointed, as will the players. It's a huge setback now for a team that's made great progress over the last number of years. But Kilkenny just going from strength to strength, as we said earlier, massive hunger within the ranks, real competition for places. Every one of them still playing as well as ever, and they've sent out a message loud and clear to the rest of the country this evening.
The margin in the end for Kilkenny was 18 points, and the final score in Portlaoise reads Kilkenny 2 goals and 21 points, Dublin 9 points. Michael.
Ger Canning, Michael Duigan, thank you very much indeed. And just a reminder about the Sunday game live tomorrow here on RT Television. It is football first down in Monaghan in the Ulster Football Championship from Armagh, and then we head south to Páirc Uí Chaoimh for the meeting of Cork and Tipperary in the second of this year's Munster Hurling semi-finals. And the Sunday game live tomorrow starts at 1:30. Sunday game tomorrow night then, the evening edition of it is at 10:10, a little bit later than usual because of the soccer full roundup of all of the action, including those hurling qualifiers phase 1 from today. And also mentioning hurling, the hurling qualifier phase 2 draw is on RT Radio on Monday morning. That will be on Morning Ireland just after the 8:30 news headlines. So then, now we know Kilkenny indeed are into this year's Leinster Hurling final against Galway. Liam Sheedy, Ger Loughnane had been watching that match with me. Going into this game and the build-up to it, people were saying, is this the day that Dublin would do it? Is this the day that Kilkenny will be caught? A little bit like the All Blacks against Ireland during the night.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
the answer.
Just watching this morning, the All Blacks, it was so similar to what happened there, but you would have to say Dublin was so disappointing. And Anthony Daly must be wondering just what he can do with this group now, having been 4 years with them. He has given his life for the last 4 years with that team, and to come out and to totally flop on the day was just very, very disappointing for him. Now, Kilkenny, they won the game without ever raising it to a very high intensity, without ever going beyond second or third gear. But the way, the efficiency with their play is just absolutely fantastic. They pick out the man so quickly. They play the intelligent ball. They play the fast ball, and then they take the score when the chance presents itself. Dublin were trying to walk the ball short, passing to a man 3 yards away, the ball being taken off of them. Everything that Anthony Daly would have said to them not to do, they seem to do today. So a very disappointing game. Actually, I was at a donkey derby in Spencer Hill last night, and the entertainment was 40 times better than what I saw here today.
Was it any drier, Ger?
It was dry, and it was fun, and you come away from it kind of saying, God, wasn't that mighty? You come out of here tonight and you say, oh God, where do you go from here? Yeah,
Spencer Hill for us.
Yeah.
Next year, I think Liam Sheedy. Liam, Ger managed a team to 2 All-Ireland finals. You managed to Tipperary to All-Ireland finals. After a while, there's only so much you can ask for players, and are they willing to go again? But this Kilkenny bunch are incredible because they just seem to want to do it all over again. As Michael Dignan was saying, the commentary, they are fighting for their places on the team.
Yeah, incredible is the right word to use. The best team probably ever played a game. But the reality is, we would have expected Dublin to come with a lot more tonight. I just couldn't get over Dublin the way they came second to the ball. The one thing you don't do with good opposition is say, look, I'll give you the ball first and now I'll try and take it off you. They were behind to every ball. They just seemed to be completely flat. And when Kilkenny got the first goal, as I said, I sensed here that the heads were already going down. And, really, the second half, 3 points, 2 of those coming from play. I mean, it was just one-way traffic. Kilkenny, if it was a challenge match between Tip and Clare and myself and German managers, we said we'll blow it up at 20 minutes to go. We'll go out of here really. Yeah. And I'm really, you'd really feel sorry for Dublin. I'm sure their preparation, they didn't prepare to come down and play like that. But just on the evening, completely outclassed. And you're thinking back in Kilkenny next week, they're going back training. You've got players like Michael Fennelly and Michael Rice coming back in saying, lads, anyone want to shove out of the way here? I'd like a place in the team. And you can just imagine the training matches that are going to happen down there on the build up to the Leinster final. So
one of those players who put in an outstanding performance today was Richie Power. He is our man of the match. He's talking to Claire McNamara.
Richie, congratulations. An easy first outing for you.
I wouldn't say easy now, I suppose we targeted this game after the league final, and we knew it was going to be a massive challenge. Dublin are an up-and-coming team. We knew what they were going to bring physicality-wise, and fitness. So, we got ourselves in the best shape possible that we possibly could, and thankfully things went right for us on the day.
And a goal from you kind of got you up and running?
Yeah, definitely. You kind of need a score to get you settled in games, and Colin gave me a great ball through. I had nothing to do really, only put it in the net, So thankfully it went in, but it just showed that everyone worked for each other out there. I think the team spirit was just immense today, and we have to push on from here. We've Galway waiting for us in 2 weeks' time, so that's going to be a bigger challenge again.
How do Kilkenny keep doing it?
I suppose we've guys on the line, we've 15 guys on the line pushing us all the way. We said it at half time that Henry, I think, said it for a guy of his stature to say that there's guys pushing us every week and training every night. So, we have to push ourselves as hard as we can, keep going. And, Brian says he always picks the team on training, and that's what we do.
And sweet for you after coming back from injury?
Yeah, I suppose I was lucky enough in a way. I thought my year could have been ended, but thankfully it hasn't. And, thanks to the great medical team that I have, I was able to get back in the best shape possibly. So, we'll push on from here and we'll see what happens.
Well, congratulations. You are our man of the match, and Guida Cahill from Centra is here to hand over the award.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Well done to Richie Power, another fine performance, of course, in the Kilkenny jersey this afternoon. More to come, I'm sure, from him and Kilkenny for the rest of the year. More to come from us after this commercial break. Do please stay with us. No Leinster final for Dublin, but you could be going to the Munster Hurling final. You could be bringing some friends from Australia, and here's how.
We've teamed up with Etihad Airways, proud sponsor of the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship, to give you the chance to win a trip for you and a friend, plus a guest living in Australia, to this year's Munster Senior Hurling final. Etihad Airways will fly your friend and their guest home for hurling from any of their destinations across Australia, plus there's 4 match tickets, overnight accommodation and €1,000 spending money. For your chance to win, answer this. Which of these are defending 2011 Munster Senior Hurling Champions? Is it Clare, Waterford or Tipperary? To enter, call 1515 71 71 74 or text the word hurling followed by your answer and name to 57111. Viewers in the north can also text to 57111 or call the number on screen. You must be over 18 to enter. More details on RTE Airtel page 194. Lines will close at midday on Tuesday, June 26th, and the lucky winner will be announced on Championship Matters on RTE2 on Thursday, June 28th.
Nice prize indeed. Best of luck there. What Gentlemen, is Anthony Daly going to do with this Dublin team? Now, they're still in the championship. They might be out of the Leinster final, but they're still in the championship. Going to have a bit of hard work next Tuesday night, Liam, I suspect.
Yeah, myself and Joe were just talking about it off air there. Clearly, to try and pick lads up next week is going to be very, very difficult. I mean, whatever about losing the game and not performing. I guess all you can say, in that dressing room is, which is our real form. Was the league final last year a real form, or was that a real form there today? And there's definitely no way that that's Dublin's real form. They are much better than that. But I think there was so much talk about Dublin coming into the game, and some people were talking to me saying we think Dublin are going to win.
Yeah.
So, you can imagine. I actually said it last Sunday night. You can imagine what that's going to make. What Brian Cody and his team are going to think of that, and clearly we saw what they thought of it today.
Yeah. And,
well, let's hear what Brian Cody does think of it. He's talking to Clare.
Brian, another championship campaign up and running, very comfortable for you this evening?
Yeah, we played well today, Clare. It was a good performance. The first half we played against a very strong breeze, and we went in at half time with a bit of a lead, and 2 goals obviously in the first half were crucial scores, and they were good goals as well. But the attitude of the players is very, very good, and we're happy today, certainly.
Another demonstration, I suppose, of just the strength of this squad that you have.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talk about the panel the whole time. We don't consider ourselves a 15-man team. We have players always putting pressure on the next player to get into the team, and that's very, very important. And then when you hit injuries, they're ready to come in and step in there. So, the panel, we're very, very happy with the quality of it, definitely.
And you come off an All-Ireland winning campaign, a league winning campaign, and there just seems to be no end to, I suppose, the hunger and ambition of your side.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Leinster Championship, it's championship time, and that's what players kind of live for, and everybody involved lives for that, and there's an excitement about it and a real enjoyment about it, and there's a challenge there that we like to take on.
It's your 14th successive championship campaign. Do you approach them all the same, differently? What do you do?
I'm not sure, to be honest, Claire. I just kind of take it from day to day, and there's a buzz about every championship day and every championship season, and it's about the challenge that's out there in front of you, and the challenge today was a very, very serious one. Dublin have had terrific form coming to the league, even though they were relegated in the league. It turned out their performance in the league and their performance against us in Nolan Park was certainly outstanding, and it's a game they would feel, and we would feel probably they should have won. So we knew what to expect today, and as it turned out, they didn't have a good day, but I'm certain that there's going to nobody be queuing up to take on Dublin in the championship, because my opinion of Dublin is the same now as it was before the game.
And it's Galway up next for you. You'll be anxious to go to the direct route to the All-Ireland series.
Yeah, certainly. I think everybody would prefer to go that route, but it's a big challenge. Leinster final, it's ourselves in Galway, and there's going to be absolutely nothing in that game. Galway, very good win the last day. So, it's the challenge there ahead for us, but that's what we're looking forward to now.
And just a quick word on Henry Shefflin, another milestone today, 500 championship points now he's passed.
Has he done that? Okay, well, I mean, I'm not too concerned about what he's done, to be honest with you. With regard to points, it's a great achievement for his personal achievement, but the challenge is what's further down the line for him, and what it is certainly is great to see him back with a game under his belt. I mean, he's had a tough time with injuries, but he's a dogged man with terrific spirit and interest in what he's trying to do, so great to see him back.
Well done today.
Thanks, Claire.
Yeah, the challenge is there for Kilkenny, and do they relish that challenge, Ger?
Absolutely. But now, the one thing about it is that in 2 weeks' time, both of these teams play again. Kilkenny play in the Leinster final. Now, today is a good warm-up game for them. It's not going to take too much out of them. The intensity wasn't that high. They're not going to be that worn out after today's game. Now, contrast that to Dublin. They've only 2 weeks to prepare now. They'll be playing either the losers of Tip and Cork tomorrow or else Clare. So a very, very dangerous game for them. So their season could boil down to just 2 weeks. So what happens in the 2 weeks for the next 2 weeks for Dublin is absolutely vital. For Kilkenny, today is just perfect preparation.
By the way, gentlemen, we should say something, Liam Sheedy, about some of our GAA stars and what they put into the game. We all know they're amateurs and we won't sort of go on about that. But Henry Shefflin, the star of the game, it's a wet evening here in Kilkenny. He's still out signing autographs to the fans, or in Portlaoise, I should say.
Yeah, he's an amazing man. He passed the 500 mark. He probably has no right to do what he's doing in Championship. I mean, he's had a really tough last 2 years with injuries. Getting the knee job done and obviously having to limp out of an All-Ireland final. And even last year, he only came back for the Championship. And again this year, but just goes to show you the mental resolve that this guy has. And he just walks onto the pitch. And he got some very difficult frees in that first half, and he had 6 out of 7 in that first half. That was very, very key when the match was a match. And he ended up with 10 points in place balls, and unlucky not to get a goal at the finish. But I'm sure he'll be very happy to have that game under his belt today.
Well, you see, as well as that, Michael, every great team has these iconic leaders on the field, and he's just one of those. This is his 57th championship game in a row. Never missed one since 1998, since Brian Cody started. Now, I'd say in the whole world of sport, you wouldn't find somebody that would match that. It's just exceptional what he has done. But in talking about, you saw this morning in the rugby of Richie McCaw of the All Blacks. Who are the team you could compare to Kilkenny? So he is the Richie McCaw of this team, and every team needs him. And he didn't score today, but we were just watching him here. The work rate all over the. He was inside corner forward one time. He was in the far wing another time, supporting the man in possession the whole time. Brilliant player, a true leader, and someone that hurling will all. He's a name that will live forever in hurling, and we're just glad that we are here now watching him on nights like tonight.
And maybe we should have sent out some of those Kilkenny lads to help out the Irish fellas as well during the night. Henry didn't get a goal today, as we said, but there were 2 goals for Kilkenny in that first half.
Yeah, they were, and they were really big scores, and TJ Reid probably is a bit quieter in the second half, but they played down the centre. They were very, very strong in that first half. Richie Power was inside in the edge of the square, TJ was out centre, and they worked very well together. And another forward, you're thinking putting the ball over the bar, but not Kilkenny. When they sense there's a goal on and they're hand passing. I mean, we've seen several nights. This was a tough night for hand passing the ball and giving very, very acute passes, and there they are. Game breaking the pass, and it's a goal. And again, you think, this time, Stephen Heine probably lacking a bit of match practice. Likewise with the chap of the Brady's there, and he should have kicked Tomas, and he should have come out with the ball. But when it comes across again, you can see Richie Power just off camera here breaking in. But look at all the movement that's happened. They never stand still. Someone's always making the runs, and they drift in behind. And they're the 2 goals that gave them the platform. They didn't need to get another goal in the second half. They had their platform built in the first half, and they really are good at putting away teams. Goals win matches, and they got 2 again tonight.
Well, Anthony Daly will be disappointed with that. His job now is to lift this Dublin team for the rest of the championship. He's talking to Claire.
Anthony, obviously bitter disappointment. Your challenge never really got going today.
No, Claire, that's an understatement, I suppose. I don't know. It's just incredible, how poor we could be. It wouldn't take away from Kilkenny. Obviously, showed they played up to their normal standards. But if we gathered up 20 at the Red Cow this morning and came down, we'd hardly been worse. We couldn't rise the ball. I don't know. We looked towards the night as if we were sharp as lightning. And obviously, it's something between our ears. Maybe it's just psychological block there or whatever it is. But no, we never got out of the blocks at all.
Is it just one of those days? Obviously you had expected, there was great hope, I suppose, within the county and outside that you would put up a serious challenge tonight.
Yeah, well, I suppose there was a good bit of media talk, but maybe that's more a situation of the media dying for somebody else to come along. But Kilkenny just be Kilkenny, don't they? No, within ourselves we were realistic, and we spoke about just performing, but we didn't really go down the results route at all. We spoke about getting the best out of ourselves, but we couldn't have got any worse out of ourselves than that, So I don't know. I don't really know, Claire, exactly what the answers are at the minute, but watching videos might help. But I mean, it's fresh enough in my memory to know. I mean, we couldn't do the basic stuff, and I mean, they're able to do that. Whether it's the size of the Kilkenny jerseys or something getting to people, or I don't know. But we have to try and pick our heads up anyway, because we've only 2 weeks to try and, or else we're out of the championship. So that's what we have to try and do now, is get back and hopefully regroup somewhere or another.
How hard will that be?
It'll be very difficult, but I think it must come from the players as well. I mean, we'll back 100%, and sure, look, we'll but leaders have to step forward now and hopefully try and renew the challenge. But I know it's just hard now because we just, as you said, we never got out of the blocks at all. And but Kilkenny again, they showed again exactly how you do it. You step up to the plate on the big day, and you be an adult and a man about it, and they have loads of those.
How far ahead of the pack do you think they are?
A good bit ahead of us this evening anyway, Claire. The pack, I don't know, sure, they'll take it one day at a time. I thought Galway looked good enough last week, to be fair, but I suppose Galway would have preferred if we won today maybe, but no, I look there, obviously they're the best team, there's no doubt about that, but how fair, I don't know, that's for other people will tell us about that, but they come whatever conditions, Croke Park, Portlaoise, wherever it is, they'll come out and do the business most days.
Okay, Anthony, thanks for talking to us.
Thanks, Claire.
That is the Dublin manager, Anthony Daly. Clearly, Ger, and obviously disappointed in that. He says he'll go and have a look at the video. I'd advise him not to look at it for a couple of days.
No, he wants to avoid the video this game anyway. He might have looked back at the video of the league final again and see just how they can play with it. But it's a very realistic assessment. And Daly has always been totally realistic after games. He doesn't get carried away. His summary of what happened today is exactly totally accurate. That he has trained this team for 4 years. He has done everything he possibly can, and they come down and flop. But he has seen this before because he came from Clare, where that often happened. You know, it has happened so often in the past with Clare. But you know, having spent 4 years, it makes it all the more difficult. If it happens in your first or second year, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Happen in the fourth year, that's why I'm going back again to 2 weeks' time. That is just make or break for this team.
Yeah.
You know, the team is going to break up.
No
If they
doubt.
lose that game, no matter who it is against,
Yeah.
the team is going to break up. You know, and it'll be very hard for them to hold on to Anthony after that.
One team that's not going to break up in the next 2 weeks, you can be sure of that, is Kilkenny. Henry Shefflin has finished signing those autographs.
Yes, indeed, he has. Michael is here with us. Henry, your 57th successive championship game. You went past 500 championship points tonight. I think they're running out of paper to record your achievements.
Yeah, I suppose Claire's just delighted to get on the field and delighted to get 70 minutes behind me. It's been a tough few months for myself with the shoulder injury, so just absolutely thrilled to get back. And I suppose the most important was that Kilkenny got the victory tonight, and that's the most pleasing pass.
And how do you feel after coming through that 70 minutes?
Yeah, well, obviously I feel I need to work on a bit of sharpness, but you know, I'm just delighted. I think we performed very well, we worked very hard, and we knew it was that kind of a night that, you know, it was very greasy. The ball was going to be slipping and sliding around, so I think we knew if we let Dublin settle into the game, we were going to be under pressure. And TJ and Richie got 2 brilliant goals in the first half, and it set us up nicely for the rest of the game.
And you chipped in 10 points yourself?
Yeah, but unfortunately they're all freeze there. So
Still count.
yeah, well, no, I was. You know, I'm just delighted to get the match under the belt. I know that's what I need. I need matches, but I'm just delighted with the performance of Kilkenny. I think the backs were excellent again tonight. They've been the cornerstone of all our performances down through the years, and they were brilliant again tonight. And the lads got a couple of goals. We worked hard, and it wasn't nice for fancy hurling or anything like that. It was about just getting the victory, and we can look forward to the Leinster final in 2 weeks' time.
Okay, well, congratulations tonight, Henry.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, those points may have come from freeze, Liam, but they've taken them past the magic 500 mark.
Yeah, they have, and he's right, you know, right throughout the field. But, you know, what amazes me about this Kilkenny forward line is, you know, mostly with forwards, they're all very good in the ball. But I seen Henry Shefflin getting in blocks and hooks again tonight. I seen the same out of Richie Hogan. I see the same out of TJ Reid. Every one of their forwards that step onto the field, they just want to be on the ball all of the time. And when they don't have it, they want to take it back off you. And I think it's a great sign. I think, you know, they're to be complimented for the way they applied the game, not just at the back, but up front as well. As I said, as a unit, they're really, really well polished.
And very briefly, Ger, it's not just Anthony Daly that's going to be scratching his head after that. Anthony Cunningham perhaps as well, the Galway manager.
Yeah, but Galway are faster, they're more skillful, they're way more skillful than Dublin, they're a much better team. Big doubt.
We hope.
Big doubt about Galway. You know, straight out, the big doubt about Galway is their defence. You know, will they be able to cope with that kind of forward play, with those diagonal balls, with all those runs, with that support play, with the understanding they have between each other? So it is a big task facing Galway in the Leinster final. Kilkenny will be favourites, but hopefully it'll be a better game than we saw tonight.
All right, lads, almost time to go from O'Moore Park in Portlaoise. Before that, just a reminder of what's coming up on RTÉ television in terms of sport, and it's the Sunday game live tomorrow 1:30. We are on the air with First Down in Monaghan in the Ulster Football Championship, followed by the second of this year's Munster Hurling semi-finals, Cork and Tip. That should be a good one. Should be two good ones actually there tomorrow. Now, the draw for the hurling qualifiers is on RTÉ Radio on Monday morning. This is phase 2 of the qualifiers. That'll be on Morning Ireland, and you can